Beautiful Sunday afternoon in St. Louis, Mo. Great sight lines everywhere you look from Busch Stadium. The Rockies and Cardinals concluding this four-game set. The Rockies will head home after the ball game briefly. They'll take on the Mariners over the next 3 days. But first things first, the Rockies not only looking to split here in St. Louis, but this being the seventh and final matchup. If the Rockies were to win today, they'd win the season series 4-3 against the team that currently has the best record in Major League Baseball. Cardinals have taken the field during their Sunday whites. Jaime Garcia is on the hill, and the Rockies will counter with Charlie Blackmon naturally leading things off. Charlie comes in with a .292 batting average last night, a double and a triple. In fact, he led off the ball game with a triple and a half. Looked like it was a home run. Jose Reyes had yesterday off, the newest Rocky at shortstop batting second. DJ LeMahieu, for the first time in his career, will bat in the 3-hole. Nolan Arenado next. Cargo's being given the day off. Kyle Parker will be in left field. Ben Paulson will play first base. He had a big day yesterday. Nick Hundley back behind the dish. Brandon Barnes in right field for Carlos, and Johan Flande will be on the hill coming off his first victory of the year. Well, a left-hander who's battled some injuries this year, Jaime Garcia, is on the mound. George, when I think of Garcia, I think of an outstanding changeup.
Very good changeup, command of the fastball. He had made 80 starts from 2010-2012 and had been dominant, 33-22 overall record. Then the injury bug hit him. In 2013 and 14, he's only made 16 starts. He went 8-3 this year. Garcia 3-4, but a very fine earned run average. And how about this? In his 8 starts this year, the Cardinals have been shut out 4 of those 8 starts.
Well, kind of the situation for Lance Lynn, as we discussed yesterday. They had not scored many runs for Lynn. The Rockies got after Lynn, 4 runs in 5 innings, on their way to a 6-2 victory yesterday. They pounded out 11 hits, hit a couple home runs. In fact, 5 of the hits that Lynn gave up were extra base hits. For some reason, there's a delay in getting his first pitch underway, and now Ryan Blackney will step behind the plate and say, okay, we're good to go. So Charlie Blackmon against Jaime Garcia.
Yeah, it's one of those ballparks that respects the television side of things, and the umpire was holding until the exact time to go. Garcia has struggled against the Rockies. He's had 4 career starts, 0-3, 10.53 in average. The opposition, the Colorado Rockies, have hit .362 against him.
Hot and humid today in St. Louis, 93 degrees in the middle of the afternoon. And Garcia's 1-1 to Charlie is hit foul down the left field line and out of play.
Would you say he's an older statesman to Marco Gonzalez? Fastball, good changeup.
Similar repertoire.
Similar look on the mound. Marco made a rehab start last night at AAA Memphis with 6 innings, 3 runs.
It's a tough decision, speaking of the Rockies, Gonzalez. Tough decision for Walt. He was saying before the ball game to keep Cargo out of the lineup today because lifetime he's 6 for 12 with 5 extra base hits, including a home run against Jaime Garcia. Excuse me, I should say 3 extra base hits, 2 doubles and a home run.
Yeah, some of the hard decisions you start to try to pick where you're going to give guys days off.
This ball pulled sharply, but right at Mark Reynolds playing first this afternoon. Let's take a look at the Cardinals defensively. They've been a solid group. Steve Piscotty, who's been very impressive, will play left field again. Randall Grichuk, who stole the home run, I should say, from Mike McHenry yesterday. He's in center. Jason Hayward, very good in right field. Carpenter at third with Peralta next to him. Colton Wong at second. Mark Reynolds is at first with Tony Cruz doing the catching, the backup to Yadier Molina. Here's Jose Reyes from the right side. And Reyes swings and misses.
Cruz making his 41st appearance this year, but he only has 67 at bats. So there's a lot of pickup at the end of the game, as there was last night for Molina.
Those numbers you just saw, by the way, for Jose are his brief National League numbers. Here's something else about Reyes. He has been a leadoff hitter throughout his career. In fact, every ball game this year in a Toronto uniform, he hit leadoff. But the Rockies have a leadoff guy in Charlie Blackmon that's kind of cemented his spot atop the lineup. So the adjustment by Reyes. And he stayed on the bag, did Reynolds. 2 outs. That Carpenter's throw a little bit high.
Like the effort of Reyes, though. Ground ball, 2 hop to third base, beat it out, and caused Carpenter to rush it a little bit.
DJ having a big road trip. He's having a big year. He's run out of superlatives to talk about how terrific he has been in this breakout season for DJ. And he was pretty good last year also. This hasn't come out of left field. 12 for 24 on the road trip for LeMahieu. I mean, would you ever have thought, George, even going into this year, you know, he was solid last year offensively around 290. Here's the highlights of DJ in the series. But if I told you, yeah, you know, the Rockies are going to rest a guy or two and LeMahieu's going to hit third, a year ago you'd say, no, that probably is not going to happen.
That's probably not going to happen. He was one of the better 8-hole hitters in baseball, but has turned himself into an RBI machine. And I can see with Carlos out of the lineup why you do this. You put the guy, your best hitter, and leave him in a ball game, let him swing it.
Now, fastball count doesn't necessarily mean a fastball when Jaime Garcia's out there, the 2-0. And he did throw the fastball, but it's down 3-0 on DJ. What? 3-1. Garcia's always been good at Busch Stadium in particular. 25 and 15 lifetime with a 286 earned run average. (3-1). And that's in there. 3-2.
Yeah, bottom half of the strike zone, but center cut at 84. That's the changeup Drew's talking about. Backing up what Drew's talking about, the 25 and 15, the good earned run average, and 53 starts in this ballpark.
Ball 4, so LeMahieu draws a walk with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Arenado. Well, Nolan hasn't hit many home runs of late, but he ran into one yesterday to give the Rockies a 3-0 lead.
They got a fastball out over the middle of the plate. See it spinning, almost like a cutter type spin to it.
26th home run of the year. And you look at home runs per at bat, Nolan every 14, just under 15 at bats, he's hitting one out. He leads the big leagues with those 80 RBIs. That's on the outside corner. That home run also, not just the 26th, but the 16th road home run for Arenado.
That's what's impressive to me. All the analytics can't say it's a Coors Field power surge for Nolan Arenado.
But look at this, Nolan leading the National League in road home runs. Braun, Goldschmidt, Rizzo, Stanton all with 14 on the road. And I know we've said it many times and a little sensitive to it. Coors Field's a great offensive park. We understand that, but I think too often nationally people assume every number put up by a Rockies player that is somewhat eye-opening occurred at Coors Field. And if you look at the splits of Nolan Arenado, RBIs and home runs much higher out on the road. the first guy that it's come up before, but remember Jay Payton, George hit 29 home runs, and everybody's, oh, it was Coors Field. We hit more on the road that year.
Jay lives in Edmond, Oklahoma now, coaching his 10-year-old son.
Jay was a good player. He had a nice career. Product of Georgia Tech. That was back when Georgia Tech was rolling, because he played on that team with Veritek. There were a couple other big leaguers on that.
Veritek was on that ball club.
Tech
he
club.
was on that club.
Nomar. Nomar was there.
Was that Chris Benson on that staff too?
He may have been. I know Garcia Parra was there.
It's pretty good recruiting, huh?
I guess.
And not an easy school to get into. Very difficult.
Yeah. Two and two. LeMahieu's at first. Arenado at the plate. Rockies got a quick jump yesterday against Lance Lynn, trying to do the same thing here against Jaime Garcia. And it's 3-2.
Pitching away from contact, trying to get Rockies hitters to chase, and they're being very patient.
Against this vaunted St. Louis staff. Now, Michael Wacha and a couple others shut the Rockies out on Friday, but the Rockies had 8 runs on Thursday. Unfortunately, didn't close that ball game out. They got 6 runs yesterday. So they've swung the bats, at least in 2 of the 3 ball games, very well here at Busch Stadium. 3-2, and it is going to squirm foul, fortunately.
Well, if you look at all the different pitches Garcia throws out, you're going to see a variant of pitches and speeds. The fastball, 34% of the time, and as Drew's talked about, not afraid to go cutter, slider, change in any situation. He'll show the left-handed right-handers a curveball, but not very often. He's going to use the changeup away and fastball in along with the cutter to get you out.
So 3-2 again on Arenado.
Let's see what Cruz likes to go to here. Ask for the changeup on a 3-2 count. They're in agreement.
Ball 4. Notice there that St. Louis, one of the rare times they actually employed the shift, Colton Wong was over on the left side. So back-to-back walks here in the first inning, and that'll bring up Kyle Parker in his first at bat since returning to the big leagues. He was up briefly earlier this year, had some time in the big leagues last year.
So I was told that this is the first time these two have hit back-to-back since college days. Is that right?
It is true. The first time they've been together since days at Clemson, where they were hitting 3 and 4. And I asked Kyle about that in the clubhouse today, and he said it would flip-flop. Sometimes he'd hit 3rd, Ben would hit 4th. Sometimes it was Paulson 3, and he would hit 4. That is just foul. He had a great spring training. Kyle Parker, I want to say he cut down on his swing, but he made much better contact this spring than in years past. A lot of swings and misses in years past. Young player, still developing. As many of you know, he had to divide his time in college. He was a terrific ACC quarterback. And he had a marvelous spring. He hit 400. Didn't break with the club, and then he struggled the first month in Albuquerque. That's a strike, which is not unusual. When guys come close to making a big league club, especially a young player, you often see, because of the disappointment, they go down to Triple-A and their mind's not right initially.
Well, the hard part is, if you're not going to get at-bats here and you're thought of as a prospect, you need to get your at-bats there. You're not going to develop or get better playing 1 or 2 games a week up here.
0-2, and that's inside. 1-2.
A lot of pitches thrown early in this ball game. The last at 83 miles an hour. 24 so far in the game.
One, 2 on Kyle. 2-2. He has not been able to command, at least in the first inning, the off-speed stuff.
And as a hitter, if you're watching, you pay attention to that. Set on the fastball. Adjust to the changeup.
Two with 2 aboard. And this is bounced up the middle, slowly hit, and Wong is able to flip it to first. That ends the inning. Rockies leave 2 aboard. Before we go to the bottom of the first inning at Busch Stadium, St. Louis getting ready to go offensively. Johan Flande on the mound for the Rockies. Matt Carpenter again will lead it off for Mike Matheny. De La Rosa held Carpenter in check yesterday. He had a couple of big ball games against the Rockies on Thursday and Friday evening. Here's the Southwest lineup for Matheny. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Piscotty moves up to the 2 spot. Colton Wong will bat 3rd. Johnny Peralta, who homered last night, he'll bat 4th. Jason Hayward, 8 for 20 this year against Rockies pitching. Randall Grichuk, Mark Reynolds at 1st. Tony Cruz behind the plate. And Jaime Garcia batting 9th. Johan Flande, George, against the Chicago Cubs. In his last outing, earned his first major league victory, a run over 5 innings of work and beating the Cubs.
In the history of the organization, he was the 98th pitcher to win a game. De La Rosa won his 76th as a starting pitcher. That's a pretty nice story going on so far. 14 1/3 in his last 4 outings for the Colorado Rockies, an earned run average of 1.26.
Well, he's going to be aggressive. First pitch over to Carpenter for a strike. Rockies do put the shift on with Matt Carpenter. Plenty of pop in the bat. He's hit 13 home runs. He's driven in 52. That's inside. And a ground ball. Foul, so it's 1-2. 24 games now at the top of the lineup for Carpenter. He's been on base almost 44% of the time. That, I need not tell you, is outstanding. Flande's a versatile guy for Walt, that he can make a seamless transition to the bullpen and work long haul relief for you. Rockies long haul guy right now, there's Christian Bergman.
And they had to make that switch after Kendrick left in the first with shoulder inflammation. Laffey was going to be that guy. Bergman was healthy coming off the rehab. They just interchanged, and Laffey was designated yesterday.
And the Rockies, still some decisions to make. for a starter upcoming in that Seattle series. Long said they had some ideas, haven't committed to anything, at least publicly as of yet. Two and two on Matt Carpenter. 3 home runs in the series for Carpenter, and he hits this one foul. He got off to a great start for St. Louis this year, hit .372 in the opening month of the season. And there's what he's done month by month. Finished July strong. Held up, and it's 3-2. There's some similarities, George, for me, Carpenter and Blackmon, in that they're leadoff guys that can leave the yard, give you a quick 1-0 lead.
Well, I think where Charlie has the advantage over him, trying to hit the ball to the opposite field, Kyle Parker will get his first chance in the game. Charlie can steal a little more bases.
Yep.
You know, they both got power. They both drive in runs. Charlie's a guy that 27 stolen bases. Carpenter's got 3.
Here the Rockies defensively. Kyle Parker, who can play both corner outfield spots and has learned to play first base. He's in left. Charlie is at center. Brandon Barnes playing right field for Cargo. Arenado, Reyes, DJ LeMahieu, Ben Paulson in the infield with Nick Hundley doing the catching after Mike McHenry had a fine ball game yesterday. That just missed. Well, Stephen Piscotty has a 7-game hitting streak. Fouls that off. I was talking to DJ yesterday about getting comfortable with a new double play partner in Jose Reyes, and you know, they took some extra ground balls when Jose arrived, and they're moving very quickly to having, you know, solid relationships, solid communication. After all, I mean, Reyes has been a heck of a player for a long time.
Yeah,
we know what kind of defender DJ is. The only thing that Jose told me, he said, listen, I fire the ball really quickly when I'm turning 2, and you know, so DJ was prepared for that. Different feeds and where they like the ball, but that's part of when you have a change in the middle of the infield.
Well, you got an all-star, you know, a guy that playing shortstop now. It's not like you got a young guy coming to the big leagues and he's intimidated by the whole situation. The guy's not intimidated. I think where you have to really be careful is because the Rockies shift most teams in baseball of where DJ is when you get that ground ball.
Yep.
A lot of them you may have to take on your own up the middle.
One of the changes from DJ's standpoint is you went from one of the biggest middle infield targets when you're turning 2 to a smaller guy. He's not tiny,
right,
Reyes, and you're trying to put it, you know, right on, you know, where he likes it, probably chest high, that sort of thing. But a little different guy coming to the bag, and Jose. One and 0 on Colton Wong. Colton's got a little brother who's quite a prospect in the Tampa organization. Also a second baseman. He's a little bigger than Colton. He's about 5'11". He was drafted in the 4th round right out of high school. Ooh.
Second time in the series Colton has been hit.
That got him, looked like right in the small of the back.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, here's another look at it right out of the hands on a 4-seam fastball. He just tailed and caught him right there at the base of your spine. Man, that hurts.
So Wong at first, Johnny Peralta at the plate, 2 outs. Wong's been hit the second most times in the National League.
Really crowds the plate with the back foot. He has an open stance, so when he comes forward to get out of the pitch is almost impossible to do.
One ball, 1 strike on Peralta. Peralta 5 for 12 in the series, including a couple of home runs. Cardinals limited to 8 hits last night. De La Rosa garnering the victory, went 6 2/3. Betancourt finished up for him in the 7th. Doing Logan a couple outs in the 8th. Then Tommy Kahnle got the final 4 outs of the ball game. Tommy threw the ball well last night.
2 strikes. After the leadoff walk, he got busy and really wore out the strike zone. Did it with a changeup fastball, occasional slider, but mostly fastball changeup.
3-1, center field, playable, I think. Yep. Right on the edge of the track. Charlie got turned around, made the catch. Wong left at first, no score as we go to inning number 2 at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Clean, Crisp, Coors Light. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Hot and humid second inning upcoming. The Rockies will have Ben Paulson to lead things off. Benny, another big game yesterday. He was 2 for 5, a home run in the 6th inning. And then a 2-run double in the 7th with 2 outs to really break things open for Colorado.
Ball hit out. Again. Yeah, that was a great pitch. I mean, he put the ball down in a way, and I was like 25 feet up. Oh, okay, I'll just take it over your head this time. He does it to the opposite field. Scored DJ, scored Nolan.
Paulson has kept that average right around the 290 mark. 8 home runs. He's driven in 30 since his call-up. 0-1. Lefties actually have better numbers this year against Jaime Garcia. beat again. It's 0-2.
Oh, what's up with Cruz? He's had about 4 balls that he hadn't even caught. It's going right between his legs. Fastball, try to take it away, take a little bit off of the plate. He does, but low and a ball.
Curveball, he didn't get on top of that. 2-2. Here's Tom Paulson is FaceTiming Garcia. And he got him with a slider down and away. First strikeout of the ball game for Garcia. That'll bring up Nick Hundley. Rockies fans, join in on the conversation. Send us thoughts and pictures. Utilize Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Make sure you include the hashtag #ToyotaTalk. Nick Hundley brings a .300 batting average into the ballpark this afternoon. 8 home runs. He's driven in 36, hitting .333 over his last 15 ball games. Outfield straight up, infield basically straight up for Hundley. Well, how about the night that Willeen Rosario had last night? He was 4 for 6. He had a grand slam. And it's not just last night. Willeen, since being optioned down to Albuquerque in the Isotopes, 10 for 15, 4 homers, 4 doubles. That any good?
Yeah, having a pretty good time. There's the fastball in. He'll send Hundley back to the dugout.
And last night was the organizational debut for Jeff Hoffman. And Jeff went 4 2/3, Double-A New Britain. 6 hits, gave up 3 runs, 6 punch-outs, did not walk anybody. 9th pick in the draft a year ago. And I'll tell you what, he really worked his way through the rehab of Tommy John quickly, because he had Tommy John, George, May of 2014. And he made a number of starts for Toronto prior to the trade. When I say Toronto, I do not mean in the big leagues, but in Double-A for Toronto.
We saw Castro, too, another hard-throwing right-hander they picked up. He was 2 innings, no hits so far. He's walked 3. He's also struck out, too.
2-0 on Brandon Barnes. Rockies just 5-17 against Southpaws this year. And it's 3-0. Trio's in there, 3 balls and a strike. So 3-2 on Brandon Barnes. Right back up the middle. Wong will stay with it and get the out. There's a rocket up the middle. Turns into a 1-2-3 inning. Middle of 2, no score.
Sunday afternoon in St. Louis, no score as we go bottom two. It's the Rocks and the Cards wrapping up this 4-game series. You probably saw Drew and George at the beginning of the game talking about the statues, the history of the game here in St. Louis. I want to go way, way back with a all-copy fun fact and tell you about a guy by the name of Chris von der Aa, who was born in Prussia and came here to St. Louis when he came to the United States. He was the original owner. In 1882, there was a team that he heard about this baseball thing. He was actually a saloon owner. So he bought it, began it in the American Association. 10 years later, they became the Cardinals in the National League. He was kind of a promoter, a showman. He had an amusement park by Sportsman's Park. But that guy is the original owner of these Cardinals, Drew and George, way back when in 1882.
Well, Mark, once again, we've learned something new from you.
I was just wondering if he sold it to Augie after that.
That was a little early, George. Although, you know, they started, what, 1876, Budweiser? Does that sound about right?
Doug would know that as well.
He would know that.
When did AB start there, Doug?
Yeah, probably before the baseball team.
I will tell you this. When I did my first interview here, all rookies, when you come up, you do an interview, and I was with Jack Buck. Pete Vukovich, my locker mate next to Lou, goes, make sure you tell him you're going to enjoy an ice cold Bud after this interview. It's like, well, that didn't sound very good. You know, athlete having a beer, you're on radio. Do what I tell you, rookie. And I was like, all right. So I do the interview, and at the very end of the interview, I said, boy, an ice cold Bud's going to taste good, huh, Jack? And he goes, absolutely. Well, I come in the next day, and there's 10 cases of Budweiser in front of my locker. And it says, thanks for the comment on air. All right, the brewery sent it over, right? I go out for batting practice. I come back, nothing, nada, gone. They're all gone. Rode home with Vukovich. I found out where they went.
Vuk's house.
In the trunk, the back seat. Boy, I tell you, one of the moments here that would send chills down your spine, opening day.
Strike 3 on Hayward.
4th of July, those kind of things, is when they would bring the Clydesdales through that center field. Boy, they'd come around and Augie'd be riding up there. Man, oh man.
Anheuser-Busch was founded in 1852. Doug, thank you. The little piece that Mark did on the original owner, he was a team guy, because in 1885, in front of Sportsman's Park, he had a statue erected of himself.
Could afford it.
I'd like to honor today
myself.
Me.
Let's okay. Take the sheet off now. Let's see me. I want to see how they did.
Yeah.
Well, that's not me.
Randall Grichuk at the plate, and it's 1-1 on Grichuk.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. If you have a chance to come here and go to the ballpark, all the statues out front today. We talked about Lou Brock. We talked about Bob Gibson, Stan Musial. Red Shane Dees has one there.
Good fastball from Flande. Yeah, this is one of the places, if you're a baseball fan and you make that tour in the summer and you try to pick off a couple 3 parks every summer, this is one you definitely have to put high on the list.
15 hours to Kansas City from downtown Denver, right up I-70, and just keep on coming. About 3 more hours, you'll be in St. Louis.
Hey, you can do Kansas City quicker than that.
Or you can fly.
15 hours?
It's like 10.
Oh.
But knowing you'll get stopped like 4 times. You get on the phone, you talk. You're the only guy.
Strike 3, inside corner on Grichuk. Ryan Blackney with a couple of emphatic strike calls to send Hayward and Grichuk packing.
I like it. Attack that strike zone. Johan Flande, that's the big slider that he got right on the inside corner.
I'm telling you, the guy's guilty. Whenever he immediately puts his head down, starts kicking dirt, he's just hoping he doesn't hear the umpire behind him bark strike 3. Mark Reynolds, 2 outs, nobody on. And this is slowly hit to third. Nice pickup, Nolan, and a terrific inning for Flande. 1-2-3 in the second. We'll go to the third. No score. 9-1-2 for the Rockies at Tampa.
See that last year, but I always felt like he had the swing mechanics and the feel for hitting that he.
Off. DJ LeMahieu is hitting third. He's due up fourth in this half inning. Of course, that's the middle of the order. You're wondering what's DJ doing there. Well, Walt Weiss says he expects him to get some ribbies.
I always felt he was going to be a guy that we're going to see a lot of extra base hits from. You know, maybe we didn't see that last year, but I always felt like he had the swing mechanics and the feel for hitting. That he was going to start driving the ball, and we're going to see a lot more extra base hits.
George, we've talked about him going to right field, but on off-speed pitches and maybe a lefty like Garcia, don't be surprised if he can pull it down the line and knock in some runs. So that's why he's hitting where he is today, and he's been hot on this road trip.
Well, not hard to make out that type of a lineup. You know, and he's got a guy that's 12 for 24. I think he had 4 extra base hits, driving in the runs. But you got to set the table before the guy can clean it up for you.
Johan Flande at the plate. And Johan bunts it foul. Well, one of the things Walt was talking about, he said, listen, he has the ability to turn on a pitch. He went up above the Big Mac sign in BP yesterday, which, you know, I know it's BP, and you can say that all you want, but you have to be a strong man hitting up there.
Long ways.
Flande playing the game right. You know, he's a pitcher. He's hot day. He said, hey, drop third strike, get a run. 3 strikeouts for Jaime Garcia. The Rockies flip over to the top with Charlie Blackmon, who wants tacos when the Rockies score 7 or more in any game. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 in the afternoon, and you will receive your Rockies taco special courtesy of Taco Bell, La Masa Taco Bell. Charlie hit a sharp ground ball to Mark Reynolds at first in his initial at bat. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout. Sun splash day in St. Louis, Mo. Just a couple blocks from the banks of the Mississippi River. You were swimming in the Mississippi growing up, Frazier?
No, didn't do that. You'd end up in New Orleans in about 30 minutes.
Is that all it takes?
Yeah.
Boy, the river had to really be running.
There's a few currents out there that it looks really nice, smooth and glassy. It's not. I told a story the other day when Jerry Jack was here that I came up as a young kid to visit my sister, who lived here, taught school, and now does other things. Rode the Admiral. Rode it down and rode it back.
How long was that trip?
It was about 2 hours, an hour down the river, and they'd make a big turn out in the river, and you'd come back up. It's beautiful as you look out now at the river. Dougie, that's not one you want to get in a canoe on. You can, but I strongly suggest you have a motor nearby. Because you're not turning around and paddling back the other way, I can tell you.
3-1 on Charlie. Illinois on the other side.
Dougie, what's he had? Like 5 3-ball counts already? 4. Well, that would have been quite a few. His pitch counts up. He had the 2 walks.
Shoulder injury, groin injury has kept him out of the rotation for a good portion of the year, and he has now walked his 3rd batter. Blackmon with 1 out, jogs down to first. And that'll bring up Jose Reyes.
Now, Drew talked about it beginning of the season. The shoulder was bothering him. He made it on the DL. 7 starts, the 21st through June 24th. Placed back with the shoulder again. And activated July 28th. So it's just been right around the corner against Cincinnati. Went 5 innings or 6 innings. Struck out 5, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. They've tried Tyler Lyons. They've tried Marco Gonzalez. They've tried a few guys in that 5th slot.
Tell you what, Charlie George has a right-hander's lead here with Jaime Garcia. You know what I mean by that. Usually you see guys shorten up a little bit with a lefty. Well, Charlie's obviously seen something on tape, because look, he's getting the same lead he normally gets.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident he's got a read on his feet or his hands when he's coming to first base. See, but that first move was straight back.
And right now, maybe he's going out far and has a one-way lead, going back to the bag. See, tell you what, Charlie uses that intellect of his and applies it in that running game. He has been terrific. This time he's got to get the uni dirty. Billy Hamilton over 50 bags back-to-back years. First time that's happened for a Reds since Eric Davis. There's Charlie, tied for 3rd in baseball with Jose Altuve of the Astros. Is fouled off. If you're wondering, with Reyes, is he better from the right side or the left side? Actually, career-wise, it's about dead even. It's kind of like Chipper Jones. Obviously, I'm not comparing him to Chipper Jones. Chipper, a different kind of hitter, but Chipper was dead even in his splits in his soon-to-be Hall of Fame career. Reyes 291 as a lefty, 289 as a righty. Now, this year it's been different. He's hit 306 left-handed, just 226 from this side of the plate. Jose hits this in the air to fairly deep center field. Grichuk will get back and make the catch. 2 outs. Now I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie was even more aggressive and looked to run. 2 outs. You have LeMahieu at the plate.
Well, LeMahieu doesn't. I mean, he steals some bases, but if he does get thrown out, it's a win-win, because now you got LeMahieu leading off the inning. If he's successful, you got 2 pretty good hitters to try to drive him in. Of course, Cardinals might be thinking the same thing.
Well, I would be
first, second pitch out. You know, first, second pitch type pitch out. Try to make the play on him there.
That, or figure he's going to pick on the first pitch.
Not a very good move. I never liked side steps by left-handers to speed the play up to the plate. If you've got a good move to first and they can't depict your leg kick of where you're going, you're going to freeze them anyway. And I think sometimes the left-handers, when they start to slide step, the elbow drops, the ball rises, and it just has run, not sink. Don't get on top of a good curveball like you need to with the slider.
You can employ Huey's theory here, which he used to use. That's 2 picks. Rarely does a guy go 3 times in a row. Go first move.
And if you're wrong, you're wrong. It's the 3rd inning.
Yeah. Charlie takes off. Inside, throw by Cruz isn't going to get him. 28 stolen bases now for Blackmon.
Yeah, you were right again.
Once again.
Now, just all part of studying the game, realizing counts, what they do, when they throw it. Charlie just took off. As soon as the leg came up, he was gone. But if you watch the leg kick of Garcia, it was a short slide step to the plate. When he goes to first, he picks the leg up higher. Pretty easy to depict that if you're a base runner.
RBI out there for DJ, and it's a ground ball to deep short. And Peralta throws out LeMahieu. So Blackmon left at second, middle of 3, no score in St. Louis. A reminder to tweet your strongest fan photo. Do it right now. In fact, use the hashtag RMDataStrongFan, and hopefully we see you a little bit later on in a game broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile.
You talk about the true sense of a caddy at the big league level. Cruz is that for Yadier Molina. Swinging the bat has not been one of his fortes in his career. 179 this year, 3 RBIs. He's 1 for 20 at home, Doug, if you didn't know that. Did you know that? Oh, you did, because you gave me the note. That's right.
What? Yep, Tony will turn 29 later this month. Born in Palm Beach, Florida. One out. And that'll bring up Garcia. Strike on Jaime. Garcia was born in Reynosa, Mexico, but went to high school in Texas, Mission, Texas. Orioles selected him in the 30th round of the 04 draft. He didn't sign. Two balls and a strike on Garcia. Twice a 13-game winner, 2010, 2011. It's a scorcher today.
What has she got on her head?
Line to Charlie Blackman. I'm not sure.
I'm not either. Hey, tomorrow, Purple Monday, where Purple win prizes, and the first 5,000 fans are going to receive a Purple Monday digital camo hat. I can't wait to get my hat. Hey, did I get any hats while I was gone?
You got 6 dozen. I lined them up. Dougie and I did. We lined them up.
I love hats. I mean, I got a lot of hats a couple of years ago. I'm going to get me a digital camo hat.
Right up your alley.
Monday. Absolutely it is.
King Felix on the hill for the Mariners tomorrow, huh?
Look at that. The drink carriers, huh? Use a fan. Carry your drink, use the fan, dump the ice water over your head, keep fanning. It's hot. Those seats nobody wanted it. That's all the way up on the 3rd deck. They really want it bad now because that's where all the shade is.
See, I'm betting Stout's
comfortable.
I'm betting Stout's done for the day.
No, Mark, no. Might have changed shirts again, but
1-1.
As long as he doesn't show up in a tank top and shorts.
No, that's probably not a good idea.
Bad visual. Where is he?
Told you. He
Is he
found
done?
an air conditioner somewhere. That's a strike on Carpenter. 1-2. Carpenter hit a fly ball to left his first time up. High fly ball to Charlie in center. And another 1-2-3 inning for Flande. The only base runner when he hit Colton Wong with 2 outs in the first. We'll go to the 4th. Nolan will lead it off. top of the 4th inning. Jaime Garcia has been solid for the Cardinals, though he's walked 3. Yohan Flande's been outstanding for the Rockies. Again, the only base runner. Colton Wong was hit with a pitch back in the 1st inning. Arenado, Parker, and Ben Paulson here in the 4th against Jaime Garcia. Time to go in the way back machine. Oh,
stop
baby.
it.
1980 the year.
Stop it.
I wasn't born yet, but this is Frazier's baseball card.
Wow.
You know what? That's Parker Frazier with a mustache. It is.
That's nice of you guys to do that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Golly. I really look like that? I don't think I did I?
You know what? Even back then, George, they had the ability to doctor a photograph
they did.
and make you look semi-handsome.
They still like today. Right now, they're doing
Photoshop.
A lot of doctoring.
I wish they could right now. That is Parker, though, your youngest son.
Yeah, well, you never. I got an older one that looks a little bit like it, too. Oh, boy.
Look at
There
this.
we go.
Tommy Herr, he turned out just fine.
Yeah, he did. Dan O'Brien ended up getting a little time in the big leagues and then went to the University of Michigan as a pitching coach. Crazy.
That's a line shot, gloved by Peralta, 1 out.
You know, I think back through it, that AAA team we had here at St. Louis. Listen to this. Terry Kennedy starting catcher, Leon Durham at first, Tommy Herr short, a guy named Mike Ramsey played in the big leagues about 8 years as a utility guy at shortstop, Ken Obergefell at third, John Scott in left, Jerry Mumphrey in center, and Tito Landerman right.
That's one heck of a team.
But all those guys got at least 10 years in the big leagues. Isn't that something?
That is something. Did you guys win a lot?
Yeah,
Memphis?
they did. Yeah, we did. Hal Lanier was the manager.
Hal Lanier, and he managed the
Jimmy
big leagues.
Williams was the manager, went on and won all the games in Toronto, Baltimore, Houston.
Kyle Parker at the plate.
Third base coach for Atlanta for a long time for Bobby Cox.
So who was fastest? All those fast guys in the 80s with the Cardinals.
Oh, man, good question. John Scott was pretty quick. He was like really fast. But if you came on up to the big league team, obviously, the guy that had the most talent for me that never, I don't think he realized it. I don't think he understood it.
Let me guess who you're going to say. Gary Templeton.
Right. Played shortstop every day. Unfortunately, walked into the dugout and no other better way to put it. He told all the fans they were number one. And the next day he was traded to San Diego. Ozzie Smith came here and he's in the Hall of Fame. But Gary, I always win the trivia question. Who's the first hitter to get 100 hits from both sides of the plate that was a switch hitter? Everybody, Pete Rose.
Mickey Mantle.
They started rattling guys off. It's Gary Templeton. And he needed to get 6 in the last 3 games. 3 against Seaver and 3 against John Pacella, hard-throwing right-hander for the Mets.
Didn't he he needed it from one side of the plate. Didn't he then?
It was all right-handed on right.
No, but it was right on right?
Yeah, he needed it from the right side. I tell you, one of the most talented players I ever played with. It just didn't live up to those talents, unfortunately. First-round draft pick of the Cardinals. Went over to San Diego, played on a couple of playoff teams.
That's 4 walks now for Garcia. Neither team has a hit. Ben Paulson struck out on a slider his first time up. And this ball's to Colton Wong. Quick hands by Wong. They'll get just 1. Ben got up the line. Parker tried to get into Johnny Peralta, so there's 2 outs, and that'll bring up Hundley.
Nick Hundley struck out looking at a fastball on the inside corner. Didn't particularly agree with Blackney behind the plate. Not sure I did either.
And Nick never moved the bat in that AB. Ozzie Smith, George, just kept getting better and better offensively. You knew he was
he's a little skinny,
wizard defensively.
Yeah, when he came up, though, he had a great arm, could really cover, but you could knock the bat right out of his hand. A little skinny kid, he didn't have a lot of power. Choked up, tried to slap stuff, got really good offensively and being able to do things. The AstroTurf really helped him, too. That's like Larry Bowa. A lot of people forget he almost had 2,300 hits. He could really run. Now Garcia in his first start of the season walked 5. In his last 7 starts he's walked 4 total. He's got 4 right now. Go figure. All those wonderful notes brought to you by Doug Marino.
And the pitch count's still fine.
91's his high this year. Average, excuse me, is 91. Anytime I'm wrong, Doug slaps me. He averages 91. And averages a little over 6 2/3, 6.8 innings pitched per start. Doug gave me the head shake of approval. Yeah, you remember. Finally.
Paulson at first, 2 outs. Hundley at the plate with an 0-2 count. Hundley. Nick drove it to deep right field, but it's run down out there by Jason Hayward. And that ends the inning. So the Rockies leave a man aboard. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. No score, a whole lot of zip on the scoreboard as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Yohan Flande's been terrific. And now second time through, Stephen Piscotty. The 2-hole hitter will be first, and Colton Wong and Johnny Peralta. Flande's been very efficient also. He has struck out 2 thus far. With every challenge call, a Subaru eyesight review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. So here's Piscotty stepping in. And he fouls that first pitch off.
The good part is Nick Hundley has not allowed Flande to get into a pattern. In other words, first pitch fastball, first pitch cutter. They've alternated depending on the hitter. They've alternated locations, which I think is good. After a cutter in, now they're going fastball in.
Scotty, good-sized guy, 6'3", about 210, deep in the hole, and that'll sneak through. The first hit of the ball game for either side. Past the diving Jose Reyes. Now he's hitting all 8 games he's played for the Cardinals.
Yeah, trying to see what they were trying to do. It's a breaking ball slider trying to come inside. So as a defender, when you see that slider in, if you cheat a little bit into the hole, you might have a chance at this. That ball was hit hard. It had topspin. Got out of the reach of Jose Reyes. I just noticed DJ LeMahieu, who is really shortened up. Reyes is a little farther back. He gave the hand signal to Jose. I'll be at the bag. You get a ball hit to you, I'm going to the bag. So he knows that he can get there. And even though DJ's playing a little bit off of the bag, I'll be there to turn the double play. You don't have to take it yourself.
Colton Wong at the plate, and he takes ball 1. This is the second base runner for the Cardinals. Say took ball 2. 2-0 on Wong. He's got some pop, 11 home runs, 44 driven in. And it's 3-0 on the native of Hawaii. He's from the Big Island. There's only about 12 high schools on the Big Island. He's from Hilo. And the only time they travel, play another island, is in the postseason. 3-1. Said they had a really good player when he was a freshman, and so the University of Hawaii came over to look at him, and he said, I was a little catcher then. I hit a home run, went 3 for 4, and got on the University of Hawaii's radar back then as a freshman. This is chopped up the middle. See if they can turn 2. There's 1. That's about it, as Wong runs well.
Tomorrow, the Rockies wives will be at all gates collecting school supplies. Support your local schools. They're all looking for crayons, pencils, markers, new backpacks to help students start the new school year. I always remembered how exciting it was to take my kids down to the store, get all the new supplies. Didn't understand why they needed all that stuff. But now I take the grandkids and they do the same thing. So I guess it's just kind of one of those days. With a big smile on somebody's face with a new backpack if you're able to do it, and some supplies to start that school year.
Yeah, that's outstanding. That pitch down low to Peralta. Peralta drove the ball to fairly deep center field his first time up. That's where he hit the home run yesterday. He's got a couple home runs in the series. 1 out, Wong at first. And this should be 2. Nice pickup by Nolan, and DJ flips it over. And that's all for the Cardinals in the 4th. 5-4-3 on the turn. We'll go to the 5th. game recap. Yohan Flande's been outstanding. Jaime Garcia has battled some control issues, but he hasn't given up a hit. He has walked 4. So he's thrown a dozen more pitches than Flande has. And the Rockies in the 5th inning will have Brandon Barnes, Flande, and then Charlie Blackmon against the now veteran left-hander Jaime Garcia. Barnes hit a shot that went off of Garcia right to Colton Wong his first time up. Rockies with the win yesterday, 20-31 out on the road. The reason I mentioned that, obviously it's not a very good record, 20-31. But if they were to win today, they would match their win total on the road from a year ago. And the Rockies won just 21 times away from Coors Field. Started out 6-0 this year on the road. Dave, they got some more tough sledding ahead, George, as the saying goes, because after the brief stop at home for 3 ball games against Seattle, and you're going to face King Felix tomorrow, you go to Washington for 3 and New York for 4. And last time I checked, those 2 clubs really got pitching staffs. Huh?
Well, they got pitching staffs, they got the bullpen, and of course the Mets adding Cespedes. It kind of helps the big right-handed bat in their lineup. So it's not going to be an easy trip. There's no question. You just got to be prepared to show up and go play.
Fouled off, and the Mets are within just 1 of the Washington Nationals. Here's a closer look at the NL East. The Braves have struggled lately. They're 9 back. Looks like a 2-team race. Well, the Phillies have played better in the second half. They're about to pass the Marlins, who have obviously underachieved this year. They were active again last off season. And even when Stanton was healthy, they were below 500. Strike 3 on Barnes.
Well, that's one of the few times he flipped a curveball up there, 73 miles an hour, and he put it on, he dotted it right where he wanted to go with it. Outside, back 4 corners. He's walked 4. He struck out 4.
Here's Flande. See if he can do like De La Rosa yesterday. Punch one to left field. De La was talking about that a little bit. Actually, De La is a very quiet guy, so he was prompted to talk about that by Vinny Castilla in the clubhouse this morning.
I like it when you have Vinny out on the road with you. Ellis Burks is here with the ball club.
That's terrific. And both of those guys pick their spots, spend some one-on-one time with each of these guys.
But what the thing is, because they're in spring training, because Vinny's around a lot, just like when Walt was prior to managing, they know what they've accomplished as a player. So their respect is there when they walk in the door. Well, if you're on the road traveling and want to watch your Rockies, subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. All in real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and a whole lot more. Sign up today, MLB.TV.
For Charlie Blackmon with 2 outs, take his time making his way to home plate. Long-standing tradition in baseball. If you're hitting leadoff, pitcher just made an out, give him a few extra seconds to rest.
Well, I'm sitting here in this heat, and I'm not playing. But I can remember literally sitting in a dugout when it was AstroTurf in the middle of July, 1st of August in St. Louis. And George Hendricks looked like one of those magic acts. His lower half was over about 3 inches. His other was over here. He was just uneven because of the heat waves off of that turf. And he used to come in. The turf would be 120, 125 degrees on the turf. And he would come in between innings in the outfield. And the rivets would get so hot, he'd wear 3 pairs of socks. He'd take his shoes off and put them in an ice bucket and switch out every inning and go play in the outfield, just to keep everything cooled down on his feet. I don't know how guys like Ted Simmons caught 140 games in here in that turf and in the heat. It wasn't easy.
No way it could have been.
Well, one time I went 3 innings, lost 12 pounds. And I didn't have 12 pounds to lose then. I do now. I got like 30. But then I didn't.
Vinny, speaking of that, George, playing with Javi Lopez down in Atlanta, said he used to lose 15 pounds in the summer every time he caught in Atlanta.
I can only imagine.
And it's not like he's not trying to pump fluids in him during the game. That's a strike. 2-2 on Charlie. Charlie's stolen base earlier in the ball game is 28th of the season. This is how he just steadily improves. All the numbers just a little bit better than last year. He had 28 bags all of last season. Now, that's a really good number in a full season, but he's on pace to probably steal close to 40 bags this year. Today is game number 103, so you can do your own calculations. That's foul. Rockies still looking for that first hit. They worked here in the 5th inning. And yesterday, 11 hits, a couple of home runs, a couple of near misses, McHenry's. Randall Grichuk took that one back in center field. A lot of loud outs yesterday, too, in that Rockies 6-2 victory over the Cardinals. Three and two.
Sometimes the rhythm and pace of a game, as a hitter, you try to break that up. Do that by stepping out of the box. Take your time getting your hands set. Even with the speed of play, umpires are pretty lenient about making sure both guys are ready to go.
3-2, ground ball through the middle, base hit. Rocky's first hit of the afternoon, and Blackman has it.
Yeah, been on base twice now. Had a walk earlier, and then now the base hit right back up the middle by Charlie on a 3-2 count. Not going to want to walk another guy, and it comes back. It's a slider. Stayed right out over the middle of the plate. Charlie just took it back up the middle. That's the other improvement for me for Charlie. Is hitting the ball where it's pitched, not trying to do too much with it. When he does get a little aggressive, that's when he does get the ground ball on the ground.
Here's Jose Reyes, ground ball to third and a fly ball to center field. Jose takes the ball. Reyes was hitting .285 for Toronto at the time of the trade. Last year he hit in the mid-280s as well.
I said the other day, I mean, where do you go find a guy that has hit over 100 home runs? He has over 480 stolen bases in his big league career.
Been a heck of a player.
602 RBIs. Mostly out of the leadoff spot.
He, along with David Wright, rejuvenated Queens when they came up as teenagers, basically.
Yeah, they both were very fine players. They thought the left side of the infield set for a long time. Reyes traded after 3 or 4 years into Queens. Unfortunately, David Wright has battled injuries quite a few of late.
Wright's supposedly going to resume baseball activities next week. Good eye from Reyes. One of the things the Rockies liked also about Reyes is Jose brings big life to a clubhouse.
Well, I mean, he's young. A lot of guys, and I played with a lot of different Latin players. They come in, just got a smile on their face, happy to be here. You're kind of thinking you're having a bad day, and you look at that guy and you go, all right, I can't have a bad day. I got to have a good day. I got to get my mind straight.
There's a lot like that, as we know, is Cargo. Cargo never has a bad day.
There's only been 20 players in the history of the game, 100 home runs or 450 stolen bases in their career. 20. You go, man, that's a lot. Well, not when there's 19,000 of them. 18,000 players to put on a uniform.
Pretty special group.
How many is it now, Doug? I know you're shaking your head at me.
It's 17,000 and some odd, I believe.
Doug's going to let you know in a minute, Drew.
3-0 on Reyes. Charlie takes off 3-0. Every once in a while he'll do this, and he swipes second base. You say, why would he go 3-0? For that very reason. Nobody's expecting him to, and that's stolen base number 29. And now that it was a strike, throw out a base hit here, and the Rockies take a 1-0 lead.
You got nothing to lose, and particularly in this situation, you don't have anything to lose because you have Reyes at the plate, who is a legitimate leadoff man. 18,581, by the way, Drew. Doug, what number was I when I came up to 78 out of those 18,000 whatever? You are not going to hunt that down. Stop.
3-1 on Reyes.
You're not that quick.
You get it for you already?
Yeah. 11,641st player to play the big leagues.
Some Baseball Reference. Do you know what your middle name is, George?
Nope.
It's there too.
Oh, it's not. Not my real middle name. My stage name's on there.
It says Sylvester. What are you talking about?
Well, my dad's name was Elmo. Lyndall Elmo. I wanted for a long time growing up. I never knew that until I was like 3 or 4. It's George Allen, Drew. Drew's looking.
GA.
GA.
Here's the 3-1. And Reyes drives this ball to right center field, but it's going to be caught there by Jason Hayward. That ends the inning. So again, Charlie Blackmon is left at second base.
Edition of Rockies Weekly. It's been a big week with the Tulo trade. We'll look back at that. Also, LaTroy Hawkins going in the deal. A Beyond the Box score about Ernie Banks with the Cowboy Tracy Ringersby. Highlights from the series against the Cubs and the Cards, and the best moments of the week after the post-game show today on Rockies Weekly. I am here in the upper deck. You see the sea of purple because the Boy Scouts from Colorado are here, and this is Kent with me. Kent goes to Lewis Palmer High School and Monument. So how many Boy Scouts are here?
There are about 200.
200 some. You're on your way to Michigan State. It's the big Order of the Arrow get together.
Yep. NOAC 2015. No, Order of the Arrow is 100 years old.
All right, so 100 years old this year, guys. These guys, as the Order of the Arrow and the Boy Scouts, they're like the National Honor Society. They're the best of the best. The Rockies gave you the T-shirts.
Yep, the Rockies gave us the T-shirts.
So they're repping. They got here yesterday. They're going to head out tomorrow. They've got 4 buses, and they're going to get to Michigan State at 1 o'clock, but they're all here. I want you to turn around and get everybody to say, "Go Rockies," on 3.
Hey, guys, say "Go Rockies" on 3, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Go Rockies!
That's awesome in St. Louis.
Rondé throws high. DJ backs it up. It'll be an infield hit for Hayward. Well, Mark, well orchestrated.
Very nicely done. And a lot of times for left-handers, when you're going that way, as you rotate your body, you have a tendency to get off balance and your top half goes back. And when it does, you try to speed up your left arm and the ball sails on you and typically goes high. But a heads-up play by DJ LeMahieu, and again, that's all part of being a Gold Glover and a good baseball player. To be in position when the ball's hit. Watch DJ. He's going to start moving the minute he starts to see this ball thrown, and it allows him to get there and be able to make the play. Hayward going hard up the line created that error by Flondy. Sometimes you're better off just eating the baseball.
Randall Grichuk caught looking his first time up. Second straight inning that the leadoff man has reached. Just 3 hits in the game, now 2 for St. Louis. John Jay, normally the starter in center field, is hurt. This ball to deep center, and it's gone. You know what? Charlie never saw it. Not that it would matter. That was well over the center field wall, and Grichuk gives the Cardinals a 2-0 lead with his 12th home run of the year. Boy, the ball is really carried straight away in this series.
Well, I was watching the flags in center field, and you look at the flags above Busch Stadium, and the flags up above are blowing out pretty hard to dead center field. Oh, Glory's got a pretty good gust to her today, too. But you look at the flags, it'll tell you the wind direction when the ball gets up, even with the third deck. And that's exactly what happened here. It's the only open area in the ballpark is dead center field. So you have a wind tunnel going straight ahead to the hitter's eye.
Here's another guy familiar with home runs, Mark Reynolds. He takes inside. He had a ground ball to third.
So much was made of Mark Reynolds' strikeouts early in his career. It came to the point where, hey, I'm going to hit 35, I'm going to drive in 85 to 90, and I'm going to strike out a lot. I don't care.
Shift is on for Reynolds. And guess what? He beats the shift with a base hit to right.
He's had 6 home runs, 23 RBIs in 51 games since Matt Adams went on the disabled list. Well, Drew, you mentioned Charlie had a tough time on the fly to this ball. He's trying to look dead into the sun. Doesn't particularly see it, and the ball's 10 to 15 feet to his right and about 30 feet over his head. Foster's going to go out and visit with Flondy, and a lot of times you do this. I mean, you had a no-hitter going 2-3. All of a sudden, then you give up the hit. You get out of that inning, you come in and give up an infield single, throw it away down the right field line, and now make a mistake. You hit a home run, next guy base hit. You start to watch things. Flondy on the day had thrown particularly that many pitches, 65, but Christian Berkman, it was just up. His rehab in Albuquerque, he's getting loose down in the Rockies bullpen.
Tony Cruz at the plate. He hits what should be a double play. There's one and there's two. That's a turn. Reyes pointing to DJ LeMahieu as if to say nice job around the bag. 6-4-3, 2 outs.
When a guy, a shortstop, fires the ball at you like that, it allows you, you know it's coming hard and you know it's going to be in a good spot. So it allows you to get to the bag and utilize different ways to use your feet to get without getting clipped by a base runner.
Here's Garcia. Strike one. Good pitch. 2-2 on Garcia. Cardinals entered play today with a run differential of 109. That's the best in baseball. In other words, they've scored 109 more runs than they've allowed. And when you talk to people who follow this club every day, they kind of chuckle and say, yeah, the offense is less than inspiring a lot of days. And of course, an outsider will counter, yeah, well, you pitch. And they go, yeah, we do that.
And they catch it.
Strike 3 on Garcia. In the inning, a 2-run home run by Randall Grichuk. First runs of the ball game. Ford Super Duty, built better, built stronger, built Ford tough. By Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Sunday afternoon in St. Louis, the Rockies trail 2-0 as we go to the 6th inning. Jaime Garcia has allowed 1 hit, though he has walked 4. And Johan Flande touched last inning for a 2-run home run by Randall Grichuk. He has pitched well also. DJ LeMahieu batting 3rd for the first time in his career this afternoon. He'll lead it off, then Arenado and Parker. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp, Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. cold hard facts today. How about LeMahieu this year against the Central? He's hitting .424. Ben Paulson also has swung the bat well against the National League Central. Rockies with the win yesterday snapped a 5-game losing streak here in St. Louis. That'll have to come from behind against Cardinals team. 39-16 at home, and when they score first, 41-12 this year. Pretty good front runners.
I listened to all the talk at trade deadline. They're talking about the Dodgers setting up their roster to try to beat, adding pitching to beat the St. Louis Cardinals. That's typically who they get in the first round, and typically they pack up and go home.
One ball and one strike. Hard shot, base hit the other way. He's good for at least one of those every game, if not two.
And they got the right-hander, Cishek, warming up down in the bullpen. And we mentioned Garcia had only thrown average 91. He's at 88, and that's it. Matheny's seen enough.
Mike Matheny is making his way out. 88 pitches for Garcia. He's going to hand the baseball off. So DJ with a base hit to lead things off in the 6th inning. 2-0 Cardinals. Sports is brought to you by Tavern Downtown. Visit Tavern Downtown after Rockies home games. Get 2-for-1 draft beers with your same-day ticket. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. 6th inning, the Rockies trailing 2-0 for the first time all afternoon. They have the leadoff man on, a single by DJ LeMahieu. And the recently acquired Steve Cishek is aboard. And Mike Matheny has not been shy about inserting him into ball games since his arrival from Miami.
Because of his failures, there was a lot of space in between outings. And I think Cishek is better when he works 3 to 4 days a week, and they're trying to get that sink back in his fastball that he doesn't overthrow it, create a lot more ground ball outs. Strikeouts are down, 29 in 35 innings. Typically he's threw harder, he struck out more. They think this could, he and Jonathan Broxton, they think could really be an integral part of this bullpen with the absence of Matt Belisle, who former Rocky. has a nerve issue in the outside of his elbow that they're just letting calm down, but they're not sure when he would be back. So it's Cishek, Broxton. They hope that he can kind of pick up the load, take it off of Manus. But his problem has been the lack of control, and for a closer, he never walked guys. And then all of a sudden this year, he just lost command and sent to AAA, brought back up, traded to the Cardinals.
2-0 on Nolan. And that's through the left side. A base hit for Arenado. So the Rockies are in business here in the 6th. 2 aboard with nobody out. And Kyle Parker's coming up.
Arenado now 2 for 5 against Cishek in his career. Makes it pretty good. Pretty nice swing right here on a sinker that was on the outer half of the plate. Took it right through the left side of the infield.
Well, this is a big at bat for Kyle Parker in that you have a guy with a arm slot that creates a lot of ground balls, and the last thing Kyle wants to do here is hit the ball on the ground.
That's the last thing you want to do, and I think, you know, Kyle's a pretty good low ball hitter. Well, let's see what Walt tries to do with him here. I mean, the Cardinals think you're down, that you've got Carpenter playing on the grass at third. Reynolds is up. I don't think he'd beat Boney. Cishek's command, you look at that last pitch, it's slider on the outside part of the plate. He's just missing by a couple of inches. It's more of that 0-2 slider he's throwing, and it ends up being ball 1.
LeMahieu at second, Arenado at first. And Parker swings and misses. It's 1-1. Kyle, after the slow start in Albuquerque, really came on. He raised the average to 280 upon his call up. Ben Paulson on deck. DJ started for third. Cishek did notice, and that's why he had to scamper back. And that's a called strike. Slider on the inside corner.
The young kid, the veteran on the mound. I mean, you look at this pitch. Pretty tough to be called a strike. Obviously, Blackney saw it a lot better than I did.
Parker hits it in the air to shallow center. There won't be any advancement here.
Rockies now 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position.
Ben Paulson's 0 for 2. Ben has hit 6 of his last 7, a .357 average during that time. In fact, he has 3 home runs over the last week. Drove in 3 yesterday, a home run and a 2-run double. Paulson used to playing in this kind of heat, growing up in Atlanta, playing collegiately at Clemson. This ball driven to deep right field, and Hayward's not going to be able to have a play. Off the wall, 1 run has scored. Arenado will stop at third. It's 2-1 on the RBI double by Ben Paulson. How big has he been of late?
31 RBIs now for Ben Paulson, getting really his first taste of consistent play at the ballpark and at the big league level, and he's responded in such a positive way with the organization. 8 home runs, just mentioned 31 RBIs, the average of 289 when this day started. A slider. And it looks like he's kind of fooled, reached down to get it. The ball's going to get into that right field corner, ricochet off. Very close, about 6, 8, maybe 10 feet from being a home run. You got a tough job now. You got Hundley up, second and third, and just 1 out. Infield playing back, they're going to give you the run.
Yeah, that's the first thing an astute player will notice, obviously. Nick Hundley seeing that. Pretty much get it in play in the middle of the diamond, and you're going to even this thing up. Nolan at third, Paulson at second with 1 out. Randy Choate, who worked last night, is up for the Cardinals. It's off the end of the bat, foul. Now, George, you think Matheny got him up for Blackmon, or just in case the Rockies were to flip, say, Brandon Barnes out and throw Cargo up there, or Cargo in the 9 spot?
Well, I think so. I mean, I'm trying to think along with Matheny right now, looking at this. I don't know that Walt would do it here in the ball game in the 6th. He may wait in that 7th and 8th inning, but then you're going to get Seagrass in the 8th. You're not going to get Choate, different guy. Choate's kind of like everyday Eddie. Guadardo, he pitches every day. That's a little name out of the past, everyday Eddie. Working in Minnesota now as a bullpen coach.
That's one of the great nicknames. Two and 2 on Hundley. And Nick with a bouncer to third, and Carpenter throws him out. That was one of the couple of places he couldn't hit the baseball and produce a run. Arenado had to freeze. 2 outs with first base open. Barnes coming up, but the Rockies obviously will pinch hit behind him, so got to figure Cishek will go at Barnes.
The Rockies got a double-barrel shotgun going out of their bullpen right now. If the game gets tied, Justin Miller, if it stays the same, probably going to be Christian Berkman.
And a wild pitch. Here comes the tying run. Nolan will score easily. 2-2. Ball in the dirt. Cruz couldn't block it, and the Rockies get a gift run.
Yeah, to me, Cruz has had a tough day today behind the plate. Been a lot of balls go between his legs. There has not been a situation, and most guys, particularly guys like Cruz that are a backup, are excellent catch and throw guys, and you got a great teacher in Yadier. Yeah, so he tried to backhand, turned his head. That's a poor job of blocking the baseball with a runner at third base. That's laziness right there. I mean, there's no way that you try to block a ball this way on a slider. Curveball's a little different. But look where his hand went. Right hand went up, head turned. He never saw the ball. You got to know that you got to give your body up no matter what. The runner at third base, that ball doesn't get by you.
1 and 2 on Barnes. Well, that one almost skipped past. Cargo in the on-deck circle. I like this move by Wall. And then if you could send Cargo up there with traffic, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen down the road.
Well, he had a shot to win it. That's why he did it. He got a shot to win if they happen to Barnesy gets on. If they get up, maybe you pull him back and save him. 3-2 count now. Barnes happens to drive in the run or hit a home run here, you can pull him back.
And also to the point you made, if you play the cargo card here, again with traffic, they're going to go bring Choate in.
Sure they are.
And you don't, listen, Choate may get him out, but Choate is a more hittable lefty than Segrist is. This ball's in the air to shallow right, but there is Hayward, and it's a moot point. But the Rockies come up with a pair of runs to tie the ball game in the middle of the sixth. Then Paulson, a run-scoring double. Good looking group here. Derek Rowe and the gang having a good time at 20th and Blake, our T-Mobile fans of the game. And in a 2-2 ball game, the Rockies double switch as they bring in Justin Miller. Barnesy comes out of the ball game, and Drew Stubbs is in right field, so Drew will lead off next inning. And there's a little bit more on Justin Miller this year.
Been very good.
Tour with the Rockies.
Yeah, he's been very good this year. 11 strikeouts over 10 innings. Hard thrower, good slider. He's going to get the top of the order. It's not an easy task right now, but he's going to get the top of this order to try to shut down the Cardinals here in the bottom of the sixth inning.
Flande goes 5 innings, the last 2 runs on just 4 hits, didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 3. Johan did a nice job. Back-to-back ball games. Over his last 10 innings, he's allowed just 3 runs. Matt Carpenter takes outside ball 1. Fly ball left field, fly ball center field this afternoon for Carpenter. Just off the plate at 95, 2-0. Two and one.
That ball right by him. Yep. Yeah, he sure did. He let that fly at 94 and threw it by Carpenter. Yeah, one more look at the pitch, and then right out of the hands of Miller. Good location. You're not going to do a whole lot with that. Blondie most of the day was 88-90 from the left side. You bring this in from the right side at 94-95. Tough to adjust to.
Swung on and missed, and Miller has struck out Matt Carpenter to begin the 6th inning.
Nice way to start things there, isn't it? The Rockies are seeking nominations for the 13th Annual Adult Leadership Award. This award recognizes individuals who demonstrated a commitment to the Hispanic community. Visit Rockies.com/leadership for more information.
Scotty a base hit his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Kevin Segrist is up now in the Cardinals bullpen.
And he's normally your 7th inning guy. So 7th and 8th. So that's where they're going with that.
Over Colton Wong's head. 2 balls and a strike. Piscotty, a product of Stanford, grew up in Pleasanton, same hometown as Brandon Crawford in Northern California. Drafted out of high school pretty late. He was a supplemental 1st-round pick out of Stanford.
Check it.
Held up.
I just asked. Just want to make sure first base umpire Paul Nauer was paying attention. And he was.
Three and 2 on Piscotty in a 2-2 ball game in the bottom of the 6th inning. This ball's well hit left center field. It's going to touch down and kiss off the wall. It's going to be a double for Piscotty. I'll tell you right now, I know what this sold-out group of Cardinal fans is thinking. Of late, with the injury to Matt Holliday, the early injury to Matt Adams, but in particular of late, what would Mike Matheny be doing without Steve Piscotty?
Yeah, right now it's a big question mark because he's come through in so many ways in a 1-out double this afternoon off Miller in the left center field. Got a ball out over the middle of the plate at 94 and he smoked it.
Colton Wong hit by a pitch and grounded into a fielder's choice.
Well, only 3 guys on their entire roster, as Miller's seen. Borges, Cruz, and Cosma, the only 3 guys he's faced.
Probably trying to fix his hockey helmet. 5'8" Colton Wong hits out of a crouch at the plate. He's an All-American at the University of Hawaii, a first-round pick after his junior year by the Cardinals. Three-time first-team All-WAC player. Two and out.
Pretty good eye. He let off an awful lot when he was at the minor league level, so he knows how to work a strike zone. Pretty good 1-2 punch. Him and late Oscar Taveras, an outfielder that was tragically killed in his home country, the Dominican Republic, in a car accident.
Piscotty at second with one out. Reyes right behind the bag, swung on a miss. Good fastball at 94. It's 2-1. Yeah, Juan was recruited. I told that story earlier, George. It's University of Hawaii. First saw him as a freshman out in Hilo on the Big Island. He said, I was mildly recruited by Arizona. That was it.
A tough place to go travel to, and pretty expensive to come to showcases on in the United States over here, and coming to the mainland to do that. But when you're the Cape Cod Player of the Year, you get noticed pretty quick.
Yes, you do. He now makes his home in Florida.
A lot of these players buying homes in Jupiter area. Spring training is there, one of the nicer facilities in baseball. Cardinals and Marlins share that complex.
It's the 2-2 for Miller. On the ground to DJ. 2 outs as Piscotty goes to third. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code's ROXWIN at papajohns.com. And Johnny Peralta will come up. 0 for 2. Last time he hit into a 5-4-3 double play. One of the big RBI men for the Cardinals. Buckled his knees with a slider.
Yeah, Peralta thought that ball was hot. Caught the top of the strike zone on the 4th strike zone.
And misses at that offering at 95 on Miller. Miller's got good stuff.
Not going to catch up to that. Outside corner and down. Threw the ball right by Matt Carpenter. First out here in the 6th.
Miller in the driver's seat ahead of Peralta, 1-2. 2-2, the go-ahead run at third base. They're 2 outs. Bottom of 6. And Miller, that pitch on the outer third fouled off.
Get you a new bat.
Yeah, gonna need a new one. Austin Miller, a product of Fresno State. Here's another 1-2. Got him. Good pitching by Miller. He fans Johnny Peralta with Piscotty at third base. So we'll go to the 7th. The Rockies 2 and the Cardinals 2 at Busch Stadium. Jenny, thank you. Let's take a glance at our game summary brought to you each Sunday by Comcast. The Rockies and Cardinals tied at 2. Randall Grichuk, a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. That gave the Cardinals a 2-0 lead. Actually, that's the 5th inning. The Rockies came right back in the top half of that inning with 2 of their own. Ben Paulson, an RBI double, and then the tying run scored on a wild pitch by Cishek. Rockies in the 7th will have Drew Stubbs hitting for the first time against Kevin Sechrist. Drew came in last half inning and double switch, so it's 9-1-2. Stubbs, Blackman, Reyes. You have 3 leadoff type guys back to back to back. Drew's been swinging the bat well. Here's the 1-0. It's a strike, 1-1. Kevin Sechrist is one of the top setup men in the National League this year, and he's been one of the busiest setup men in the National League this year, along with Manus. They're 1-2 in the National League in appearances. That's way inside. Good strikeout to walk ratio. And the interesting thing is, not many lefties have faced him, but they've hit .333 against him. Righties well below 200. 2-1, and Stubbs went 2-2. Now the Cardinals, they have that great starting pitching, but they've utilized Manus, Sechrist, and Choate quite a bit. 1, 2, and 3 in the National League. This is popped up and playable in foul ground. Colton Wong gets there, 1 out. So that'll bring up Blackman. Charlie's been aboard twice. Go figure. Like an everyday occurrence. Blackman reached on a walk in the 3rd, stole 2nd, his 28th stolen base, singled in the 5th, then stole on a 3-0 count. His 29th stolen base. Unfortunately, Jose Reyes behind him hit a fly ball to right field to end that 5th inning. Segrist last year. In a similar role with the Cardinals 2 years ago. 2013, in 45 appearances, he had an 0.45 ERA. Gave up only 2 runs in 39 2/3 innings. It's the best pen ERA in baseball in a few years. One and two on Charlotte. But Segrist, George, getting to the big leagues, a 41st round pick out of Palm Beach Community College.
Look up Rosenthal too. Rosenthal 28th round draft pick, 26th round draft pick. Both guys were starters in the Texas League first half. They flip them over to the bullpen. They go from 93 to 96. And Seacrest a year ago had a little bit of trouble with command. They sent him back. He got it corrected, and obviously a main part of their bullpen now. Strikeout of Charlie. Be sure to check out Great Clips Charity Cuts on Wednesday, August the 5th. Stop by one of the Great Clips kiosks near the right field for a free haircut from Great Clips Stylist, with all the donations going to Colorado Rockies charities. Stop by on the Wednesday, August the 5th.
Two outs, nobody on. Reyes 0 for 3 this afternoon. Ground ball to third and a couple of fly balls for Jose. And this is a little pop up to second. Colt Vaughn's got it, and Segrist works a 1-2-3-7. Stretch time at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Rockies 2 of the Cardinals 2.
There's Christian Bergman in the pen. Smart man. He is in the shade. Christian Bergman had a kind of planes, trains, and automobiles day on Friday into Saturday to get here. Kyle Kendrick, of course, found out that he's going to have an MRI, so the Rockies needed to make a move. Well, Saturday morning, it was on Friday morning. It was Christian Bergman and Brooks Brown leaving Albuquerque to Phoenix, trying to get to Fresno to join the Isotopes and continue the rehab programs. Well, they had a flight that was delayed. Then they had a flight that was canceled. They end up checking into a hotel. He gets into the hotel, and they tell him, hey, guess what? You got to get to St. Louis. You're coming back to the big league team. So the next morning, he goes back to the airport along with Brooks Brown. He was traveling with. Brooks goes to Fresno. He comes here to St. Louis. His gear was in Albuquerque. Kyle Parker brought that, and then Brooks Brown ends up with his luggage. This is all he had. I'm going to show you right now. He had this, and he bought at 7-Eleven some antiperspirant. And he got here. He's been wearing the same jeans and T-shirt for about 3 days. AB washed it during the game yesterday, but that's all he's got. But, George, that's how it works sometimes. I'm sure you got caught in the middle of that.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get what you got and you go to the big leagues. Hey, you go buy some new stuff.
Yeah.
There are stores around here, are there not?
Yeah.
Jason Hayward's at the plate, and Rafael Betancourt's on the hill in the bottom of the 7th inning for the Rockies. Rafi did a nice job getting the final out in the 7th inning yesterday, picking up Jorge De La Rosa.
Well, Betancourt pounds the outside part of the plate. You're in a tie ball game. This is your guy in the 8th inning. Come in and take out the heart of this order if you can. And when you got some guys hit the ball out of the ballpark, and yesterday he's done just that. Still got enough life on that fastball. Very good command, 89 to 92 miles an hour. Decent curveball. It keeps people off their feet. Just 44,710 in the game today. 29th sellout of the season here at Busch Stadium. 6 for 13 in the series so far. It averaged 287 for Hayward.
1-2 on Hayward. Atlanta area native, came up with the Braves. Another foul ball.
And against Betancourt in his career, Hayward 0 for 1. Not a lot of history there.
Hayward grew up in a family of athletes. Both of his parents graduates at Dartmouth. His dad played basketball there. Little brother at the University of Miami, an outfielder. Outside. His dad used to always ask Jason growing up, are you doing what you want to do? He wanted to make sure that he loved the game and he wasn't doing it for any other reason. Watch Hayward there. He's trying to hang in there with the long time it takes for Betancourt to deliver the pitch. And you start to get on that fine line. Do I call time or can I keep my hands relaxed?
That's the hardest part about facing Rafael. I mean, he works under a timeline. Sometimes it's a long one. And as a hitter, you kind of step out, call time, get yourself set. Part of one of his advantage of what he does to make him effective.
3-2. A rare one issued by Rafael Betancourt. Hayward can run. In fact, he leads the Cardinals in stolen bases with 16. Randall Grichuk is the entire reason that the Cardinals have any runs at all. He had a 2-run home run to dead center field in the 5th inning. See, Charlie couldn't really see that baseball.
Sun's right up behind the home plate area, so whenever you get a ball hit like that as it sets into the west, you just got to deal with it. It's not easy here in St. Louis.
Down low, 1-0. And it's 2-0. And you can see how angry Ralphie is. He doesn't find himself in many 3-0 counts. He has made a career out of working ahead of guys and seldom walking the opposition. Randall Grichuk at the plate. And he was swinging 3-0. Why not? If you're a Cardinal, they have limited guys that can do damage right now in that lineup. Grichuk's one of them.
Got to be careful with what you're handling here and make sure you make the right pitch at the right time. Right now, none better than a good hard sinking fastball get you a double play ball. I was a little surprised Hayward hadn't tried to do something yet.
There goes Hayward, and he'll steal second base standing up.
.16 now for Hayward. He's only been caught twice. Yeah, he really didn't give much of a chance for Nick Hundley to have a shot at it. That high leg kick of Betancourt, and then the throw on not even going to happen down at second base.
Swung on and missed, so Betancourt comes all the way back and strikes out Grichuk for the first out in the 7th. Hayward stands at second base as Mark Reynolds comes up.
It's a fastball just swung under, but he went and got a little bit extra and put it in the zone that he wanted to put it in the right place. Reynolds versus Betancourt is 1 for 5 in his career. He's 1 for 6 in the series. He's .226 average so far. The Rockies are 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The St. Louis Cardinals are 0 for 3. Hope it goes to 0 for 4 right here.
Mark Reynolds, a feast or famine guy at the plate. Foul tip, it's 0-1. Mark Reynolds from that Chesapeake area of Virginia. Talking to Eddie Butler about that today. Eddie Watson, really good players when he was a kid growing up. Used to watch Justin Upton Played at the local high school. Yadier Molina's come out and is in the on deck circle. That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tony Cruz, not the pitchers on deck. Tony La Russa used to do this also with Yadi. Gave him the first part of the day off, but if he needed him late, he was in there.
Clutch hitter. Tight game. Better receiver behind the plate.
Swung on and missed. It's 1-2.
Good deception with the delivery from Betancourt. The fastball at 95 got by Reynolds in a hurry.
One-two from Raphael. It's fastball and it's fouled off.
Wow.
Close. Nick Conley, you just tell by how he held it, thought that was strike 3.
Yeah, caught the bottom of the corner, right bottom outside corner of the strike zone, too. A lot of times umpires sitting up that far inside, though, look over the shoulder of the catcher and fly to the baseball and automatically call it a ball low.
Tell you what, I'd go right there again. I can't imagine him not calling that a strike the second time.
You don't want to make a mistake middle half in with Reynolds.
2-2, and it's popped up. Blackman really battling now, and he finds it. Crowd reacting. Yadier Molina.
Just 2 times this year has Molina pinch hit. He's 0 for 2. 287 average on the year.
How many guys in the middle of the season in the 7th inning in a 2-2 game get nearly a standing ovation when they pinch hit? Gives you the kind of idea, the kind of respect they have for this man.
Yeah, listen to the crowd with the chants and the signs when he came up.
So Molina pinch hitting for Tony Cruz. Hayward standing at second base. Cardinals this year hitting just 193 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, which I need not tell you is very poor. A couple years ago they hit 305 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That was the best the sport had seen since 1974. Here's the 1-1 from Rafael Betancourt. Outside, 2-1. Molina fouls that off. 2-2.
Yeah, has a very good knack for not trying to do too much with his swing. In other words, he just kind of sticks the bat out of it. A lot of times that will carry himself on over.
Native of Puerto Rico, first hit the big leagues with the Cards in 2004, a lifetime 284 hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Betancourt trying to get Yadier Molina. Got him. Beautiful pitching from Rafael. 2 strikeouts in the inning after the walk and the stolen base. Jason Hayward is left at second, and we'll go to the 8th. Still tied at 2. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price in sales and service guaranteed. And by StubHub, Rockies fans, did you know the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Get the StubHub app today. We go to the 8th inning. The Cardinals and Rockies each with a couple of runs. The Rockies have only 4 hits, the Cardinals just 5. And in the 8th inning, DJ LeMahieu batting 3rd for the first time in his career will lead it off against Jonathan Broxton. And Yadier Molina will do the catching. He pinch hit last inning for Tony Cruz.
Well, they went and got him because, quite honestly, he's been All-Star 2009, 2010. Had been taken out of a closer's role, but still a very good arm and a guy that's a veteran guy to help their bullpen. John Mozeliak last night said to me after the ball game that he's going to have to play a big part for this to make it work.
And DJ hits it right at the shortstop Peralta. Who wants tacos, folks? Follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special, and the Rockies score 7 or more in a game. Nolan hit a home run yesterday, 2-run shot. His 26th of the year. He's been on base twice today and also lined out. Broxton off the extreme first base side of the rubber. And a foul tip. It's 0-2. Scott Oberg's up in the Rockies pen. Apparently he'll throw the bottom of the 8th. Jaime Garcia and Johan Flande, both starting pitchers, went 5 innings, 5+, 1 batter for Garcia. Either one obviously will factor in the decision. Here's the 1-2. The pitch with 2 strikes we've seen more and more pitchers go to, getting Nolan to chase away. That'll bring up Kyle Parker. Parker getting the start in left field today. Ground ball to second, a walk, and a fly ball to center. Kyle.
Well, I tell you, Brock's a big man, but he has pretty good command. Normally doesn't walk a whole lot of people. First came up, it was 96 to 100. Velocity is backed off with the wear and tear on the arm. A little short tapper out in front of the mound. Austin will get it. Kyle Parker for the 3rd out here in the 8th.
Broxton a 1-2-3-8. 2-2. Next. Tomorrow, the Rockies will be at home. Eddie Butler on the mound against the Seattle Mariners and Felix Hernandez. Yep, that Felix Hernandez. King Felix will be on the hill for the Mariners. We're on the air at 6 o'clock with our pregame show right here on Root Sports. Rockies made a couple of changes. Carr goes now in right field. Drew Stubbs flips over to left field. And Scott Oberg is on the hill here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Greg Garcia is going to be the pinch hitter for the Cardinals. It's 9-1-2 in their lineup. So Greg Garcia Matt Carpenter and Steve Piscotty. First work for Oberg since being called back to the big leagues yesterday. He's been up and down this year. When he's been good, he's been really good. When he has struggled, it's primarily been with the long ball.
It has been. I mean, he's given up some home runs. We see that 8 home runs given up in 31 2/3. So otherwise, it's been pretty dominating. 21 strikeouts, just 12 walks for Scott Oberg. Looking at the Rockies bullpen, though, it's Oberg's innings. There's no left-handers warming up down there at all. Friedrich and Logan, the only 2 lefties. They've had a pretty heavy workload this last week in this road trip.
Trevor Rosenthal getting ready for the 9th inning. So here's Greg Garcia. Garcia takes a strike. Did he go? Nope, 2-1. Greg Garcia played baseball at the University of Hawaii with Colton Wong from El Cajon, California. Here's the 2-1. That's a strike, 2-2. Dad going to Hawaii on vacation? Nope. Go to school there.
Trip's pretty expensive for Thanksgiving and Christmas, though. Flare to left. Garcia this year is a pinch hitter for the San Luis Cardinals, 5 for 10 with a home run and an RBI. Pretty good job. Now you know who's going to pitch the 9th for the San Luis Cardinals. Rosenthal's already started to warm up.
Garcia, decent wheels at first base.
Molina, Peralta, and Reynolds, the only 3 that have faced Scott Oberg, so the only one still around. Molina's here, Peralta here.
Nolan walks in a little bit at third base. He wasn't necessarily on the grass. He was more even with the bag. And the bunt attempt by Carpenter. One ball, one strike. You surprised at all it's not a straight bunting situation here?
Yeah, Matheny doesn't do a lot of it, Drew. I mean, unless it's a pitcher up. I mean, he likes to let these guys swing the bat a little bit. You got a guy that swung a hot bat, that's hit a lot of home runs, that's driven the ball hard for doubles in the series against the Rockies. Pretty good fastball hitter. You know, a lot of times when the book says something, you say, all right, I'm going to do it a little different. And that's exactly what's going on.
the dirt ball. Garcia moves up.
He didn't pay attention.
He'll have to stay at second, despite the fact that Blackman had to retrieve that baseball. It'll be a wild pitch on Oberg.
And a wild pitch on the advancement. He slid in and then laid there. Didn't get up to try to find the baseball as a base runner. That ball's thrown down. You got to get your head up and start looking around to see where the ball is. He turns and looks back into the area, and then way too late by then. Not sure he could have got there anyway.
Go-ahead run now at second base because of the wild pitch. 2-2 on Carpenter. Carpenter backs out now on Oberg. In the air toward Cargo. Garcia acting like he's going to test his arm. Here comes the throw. And it was deep enough to get Garcia to third. And Matt Carpenter, with one out, moves Garcia to third base. The Rockies will have to bring the infield in.
Carpenter changed his at bat once the runner advanced to second. It got a lot shorter swing and pull the ball to the right side or get it airborne deep enough to advance Garcia. He did just that. Now the hottest hitter in the Cardinals, Stephen Piscotty, will be at the plate. 7 for 13, 3 RBIs in the series. That brought to you by Doug Marino.
Got an 8-game hitting streak going. Infield in for Piscotty. And Oberg misses inside. It's ball one.
Pretty good chance these two have faced each other either in the Texas League or in the Pacific Coast League.
You would think. Piscotty was hitting .272 in the PCL. 4th in the league in doubles when he was called up. And they put Peter Borges in to pinch run for Garcia. And it's not like Garcia can't run, but Borges, one of the fastest guys in the game.
He can
so
fly.
Matheny's going to play that card right now. Two and one. Give you an idea how fast Borges is. When he was an Angel and healthy, he played center field, and Mike Trout went to one of the corners. Two-one, and the check swing, no swing, according to Paul Noward at first base. It's 3-1. You have Colton Wong on deck, a left-handed bat. Tough guy to double up if you're thinking about a first and third situation. Count Piscotty's favor. And ball four. Foster's going to come out. Colton Wong coming to the plate. First and third, bottom of the 8th inning in a 2-2 ball game with 1 out. Wong has been held fairly quiet by the Rockies in the 7 ball games this year. He's hitting below 200. This afternoon 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch. While this meeting on the mound is taking place, this is interesting. Piscotty nearly sprinted across the field to visit with Jose Oquendo. So there's no confusion with the signs. First base coach is Chris Maloney for St. Louis. Kendo is one of the veteran third base coaches in the game and one of the best. He was an outstanding utility player for a number of years. Also, Frage, like you, pretty decent golfer, like a scratch golfer.
Yeah, he's really good. Doesn't know that he plays that much anymore, but boy, when he's younger, he's really good. Played every day.
Here's Colton Wong, swung on and missed.
Well, really good pitch. 94-mile-an-hour sinker, just ran away from Colton Wong. Open stance, dead pull swing. Gave a swing right over the top of it.
On the inside corner, 2 strikes as Wong glances back at Ryan Blackney.
Yeah, missed location, but a good result. It looked like that ball wanted it on the outside corner. He threw it right down the inside corner, and he gets the strike called. 0-2. Yeah, let's get something down in the bottom half. At least give yourself a chance of putting play to turn the double play. They're going to ask up.
Back up the middle, and Oberg to second, on to first. Double play. What a job by Scott Oberg. He spun, fired a strike to second, and the Rockies turn the double play and keep the Cardinals off the board. Inning in a 2-2 game, our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. You just saw it. Now, Oberg really kind of turned the wrong way. What quick hands by Jose Reyes to make sure he got Wong, who could run.
Well, he's got the strong arm to go along with that. Quick hand and snap throw on over to complete it to Ben Paulson. And Paulson to get his shot right now against Trevor Rosenthal. Rosenthal has given up 9 earned runs all year. 7 of those came in July. A lot of innings for a closer so far. You look at that, 47 1/3.
Rosenthal, one of the lowest bullpen ERAs in the game at 1.71. Ben Paulson against Rosenthal, and Ben hits it on one hop to Mark Reynolds. 1 pitch, 1 out. I'll bring up Nick Hundley. Cargo, who was in the on-deck circle earlier in the game, will come to the on-deck circle here in the 9th inning. After Hundley's the pitcher's spot. Nick's 0 for 3. Trevor Rosenthal, if you look at Cargo, a Missouri native. He's from Lee's Summit. 21st round pick.
Interesting to me. I look at Rosenthal and Rockies that have faced him. Carlos Gonzalez has never faced him in his career.
Rosenthal is well rested. He hasn't pitched in this series.
That can be good and it can be bad. Sometimes when you have a lot of rest, you get a little wild with your delivery, your fastball. Not the case here. 1-2 on Nick.
Last fastball at 97. They come in and slowly hit toward third. And Carpenter just did get it to Reynolds in time. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Cargo, pinch hitting. You know what? I keep saying pinch hitting. He was already in the ball game. He came in that double switch last inning. Cargo takes high, ball 1. Outside 2-0. Plenty of respect. Rosenthal for Cargo. He knows one swing of the bat. Cargo since June 1st has hit the most home runs in the National League by 3. Two and 1 count. An enormous July for Cargo. Big road trip. There's the 17 home runs he's hit since June the 1st. 3 more than his teammate Nolan Arenado. And then Stanton, who's been hurt for an extended period, still 3rd on that list. 3 and 1. Drew Stubbs on deck if Cargo reaches. Cargo's hit the Cardinals hard this year. 364 average. And it's hooked down the line. That's a fair ball. See if Cargo can get to second. He should be able to easily. And it goes actually into the crowd. It was touched by a fan. So Cargo with a 2-out double here in the top of the 9th. His 19th double of the year.
Hey, look at the ball. It's going to be hooked. One of the few pitches that Rosenthal threw inside to Cargo, and as it got down the right field corner, a fan reached over and grabbed the baseball. Now, that's why he ended up getting a double on this. Stubbs has faced Broxton in his career, and he walked. Excuse me, Rosenthal in his career, and he walked. I just saw 2 big guys throwing hard.
Way inside. Give you an idea how hard Cargo hit that ball. Reynolds obviously playing no doubles. He's standing right on the line and still got past him. 1-1 on Drew. Fouled out the second. Second baseman Wong, his only other at bat today. 1-2. Two and two. Goes down swinging. Cargo left at second. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth inning. All tied up at 2. Bottom of the ninth inning at Busch Stadium. Scott Oberg stays in the ball game. It'll be a second inning of work, and it's 4, 5, and 6 in the bottom of the ninth inning for the Cardinals. Johnny Peralta, Jason Hayward, Randall Grichuk. Peralta 0 for 3 this afternoon. Again, the original starters, Johan Flande, 5 innings, 2 runs on 4 hits. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 3. Jaime Garcia went 5 innings plus, a run on 2 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Peralta takes ball 1.
Nobody up down in the Cardinal bullpen. And if you start to look down there, Rosenthal's out. Villanueva's there. Manus is there. He's still in 3 straight games. He's probably out. And Choate's there. You're really down to 2 guys down there. So you may see Rosenthal, if this game stays tied, pitch another inning.
Ground ball, foul. Two and two, slider missed. And that's a 2-hopper to third. Nolan throws out Peralta, 1 out. Jason Hayward strikeout, a single, and a run scored, and a walk and a stolen base. It's a one-out double for Hayward. Cargo is shaded toward the gap.
Well, he's going to pitch away with a ball at 95, and if you can keep it away, chances are he's not going to pull the ball down into the corner. So with Hayward swinging, you see a pitcher, that trick pitch is inside. So you pitch to the defense, and they're able to take it, pull it, and then he's able to scoot into second base with a one-out double.
Hayward with a 6-game hitting streak. Randall Grichuk with a 2-run home run in the 5th to provide St. Louis with their entire offense for the day. Inside, ball 1. Hayward at second, runs well.
Behind and count. Good spot for a slider right here. Take it outside part of the plate, keep it away from him.
2-0. And missed. It's 2-1. But Scott did a good job, George, of changing his times to the plate, varying his looks, because you can't forget about Hayward at second and have him swipe third.
Not only swipe third, get a really big lead. You know, ball hit hard, they're probably going to send him anyway, but a ball hit hard, if you tighten it up, that reduces the lead, maybe a chance to put him out of the plate.
Rockies in the outfield have plus arms across, plus obviously in right, and that's fouled off. Got a piece.
Boy, did he.
Two in the 9th. Three and 2. Ground ball cut off by Reyes. Bobbles, throws, safe to first.
Yeah, Brandon Moss is going to be the guy they go to the bench to hit for Mark Reynolds. A one-handed swing hit the backside of the mound. Lucky to get it there. And then just the speed outran it.
So first and third after the infield hit.
Yeah, really close. You see the ball about not into the webbing of the glove yet. Looking down into the dugout to see exactly how they wanted to try to play this.
So one of the newest Cardinals, Brandon Moss, pinch hitting. And Nolan's still looking at the dugout. He wants to know exactly where the dugout wants him defensively. Reyes is basically up the middle. DJ is shortened up with the option to come home, depending on how hard it's hit at him.
Moss only pinch hit 3 times this year. He's 0 for 3.
The outfield has to shorten up because a fly ball with 1 out with Hayward's speed doesn't have to be exceptionally deep. 2-2, bottom of the 9th. Oberg to Brandon Moss.
.347 at bats this year. He struck out 107 times.
He has just 1 hit so far in a Cardinal uniform.
He'll be a hero if he can get something in play here and score the run in this town.
Two and 1. Oberg squeaked out of trouble in the bottom of the 8th, turning a 1-6-3 double play against Colton Wong to keep St. Louis off the board. Dare lay down a bunt. Squeeze here.
Not him.
Hard ground ball to the left side. Brandon Moss will win it. Hayward scores. And the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th produce a victory 3-2. And now I guess Brandon Moss is officially a part of Cardinal Nation. Trevor Rosenthal, the Cardinal closer, gets the victory. He's 2-2. Scott Oberg takes the loss. He is 2-2. And it's the Cardinals' 8th walk-off win of the season. And they win the season series with the Rockies 4-3, and taking 3 of 4 from Colorado here at Busch Stadium. Once again, the final score, 3-2 St. Louis. Brandon Moss with the base hit through the left side.
Defensively, it was set up. He just goes the opposite field. You're going to shade over, hopefully, but you can't get too far. And after the leadoff, the 1-out double by Hayward, the newest member of the Cardinals, Brandon Moss, gets some pats on the back from his teammates.
3-2 the final. We go west to our Root Sports studios. Here's Jenny and Jason. Take it away, Jenny.